Okay, so this is the outside of the Crown Plaza. I'm gonna film a bit walking, so you get an impression of what the old place is like. Did some walking earlier on in a different direction with my friend and colleague, but I didn't want to film then because, he's a very unassuming gentleman, and he probably would have been a bit, his style would have been cramped, I think, by the camera coming on. There's some people that are as happy to play up to the camera as I am, but there's other people that don't really do that sort of thing, and when the camera comes out, well, they kind of clam up. I don't want him clamming up because I haven't seen him for a while. I wanted to have a nice chat with him, so I didn't film during any of that, but that's no problem because it's still after that meal I went to catch up on emails and get ahead maybe even a little bit. So it's now after 5 o'clock, and I decided that I'd go for a walk on my own here in Minsk. It's actually something that I didn't do last time because those guys, when I last came here, which was, I can't remember whether it was 2000, I think it was 2006 when I came, because I wasn't filming, I was still only taking photographs, and it was 2006 I started kind of filming. It's either 2006 or 2005, I don't actually remember the time of year, but I think it was also this sort of time of year. It might have been 2005, so now it's 2013, that's possibly 8 years, I don't think it's any more than that, but possibly 8 years later. To be honest with you, I don't see a great deal of change for 8 years. Rather, not too much, but a bit. Where I see the changes is a bit more advertising going up around the place, of the sort that speaks about privately owned businesses, more of them, and there do seem to be more privately owned businesses, I would say, than there were before. So that's basically what's the difference. This isn't interesting. This is mainly, you see that things are in Russian, but this is actually in Russian. Na usiej pliatsolci. So that's in Belarusian. Most of it's actually kromie transporta. You never know what's a ministry and what have you, so you've got to be a little bit careful about what you film. But of course I can always say, and nobody would presumably know an awful lot of difference, other than the fact that I've got a big screen on this, which obviously on the face side, which shows what I'm filming, but nobody would necessarily know. So I'm reading books that say that everything that I'm doing is wrong, that I shouldn't, I need a special piece of equipment to walk around and do films, because this is too joggety. It's going to make all my viewers sick, because they're used to watching TV or going to cinema. They're not used to seeing jiggity joggety films like this. It's interesting, isn't it? Well, first of all, my viewers are probably used to it by now. Not that there's very many of them, but there are some, and that's certainly a large enough number to make it worthwhile doing it. I'm always happy to have more, of course. So that's one thing to say, and the second thing to say to that is, if I was to get all the equipment that everybody seems to want me to have in order to do this sort of stuff, I probably wouldn't be able to do it unobtrusively. I can just imagine walking down the road, making a commentary, making a casual commentary, and having, in order to do it, to set up some, stick with a spring inside of it that keeps everything perfectly balanced and keeps the camera going straight, and I've got to walk down the road with a stick. I can't even see where I'm pointing the damn thing, in order that I don't get it looking jerky. Or just set up some tracks which I carry around with me, or a dolly, and put the camera on the tracks or the dolly, so that I've all thought up beforehand exactly what I'm supposed to do, and probably script what I'm supposed to say. That means researching it. That means being inevitably influenced by what a bunch of other people have said and what the set story is on a given thing, rather than what comes into my head to say and what I just observe by being there. And that's what this channel's about. So that's why, and along with that comes the fact that you've got to put up with a bit of jerkiness on the camera. That goes with the fact that you're seeing things for the first time, exactly when I'm seeing them for the first time. And the way they are, that's the way they are. That's the way they're presenting themselves to me. I haven't prepared any of it at all. So, for example, I didn't expect to come around a corner and see Wine Group Hermitage in perfect English. I mean, in looking very English. Wine Group Hermitage. Well, actually, is it very English? That's the question. That's the other consideration. Wine Group Hermitage is all English, I suppose, but the three words are all three English words, but would you be likely to see them in that? Just passing a court building. Would you be likely to see the words Wine Group Hermitage just put that way in England? Wine Group Hermitage. You'd probably hear something like, first of all, hermitage for wine is a little bit strange. I know that a hermitage is, a Russian term. It's like the Hermitage in St. Petersburg. It's sort of like a place where you sort of hermit yourself away from the rest of society and keep yourself to yourself, which is what you might do for wine, to keep it over a long period of time. I suppose that's what they mean by it. But, if you wanted it to sound real English, you'd actually call it something like heritage instead of hermitage. You'd probably call it the Heritage Wine Group or Heritage Wines or something like that. And then that would come across as really English. Although why anybody would want to have wines in English, I don't know. I mean, obviously England itself makes wine, quite acceptable wine from what I gather from one time when I went to an English wine presentation. Not that I'm a great wine bibber myself. I don't bib much of it. I'll bib it occasionally, but not so that, I get any down my bib.